Hope everyone's having a blessed day here today. This is Brian Garrett's with the Conscious Shift Podcast. What I wanted to start out here today talking about is something that I woke up to this morning. Today's November 1st, new month, new intentions to be set for the month, new goals, new blessings, so much to be thankful for. And so I woke up today and in scrolling on social media after I did my morning routine, I saw that Elon Musk responded in a tweet to someone saying that if the UN could provide proof that $6 billion could in fact solve world hunger, that he would in fact sell $6 billion worth of Tesla stock to do so. And that is huge. That is amazing. That is great. This is what we need is billionaires who have the financial resources to donate a fraction of their wealth to be able to help save our brothers and sisters who don't even have the basics, such as clean water and food and shelter and stuff. And I mean, this is specific to, nutrition, but I mean, that's huge. And so the reason that really touched my heart and soul when I woke up to that this morning is because a week ago I actually posted, it was a picture, and it was Elon Musk. He had talked about going to space and stuff, and someone had responded that like billionaires need to be more responsible with taking care of the people on our planet first before going to space. And so someone had commented and I commented back, and what I commented back was in response to their comment, but I also said I just wish that solving world hunger was a priority for the ultra wealthy. And this was last week on October 23rd. And then a week later, on November 1st, I wake up and I see that Elon Musk might very well be pledging $6 billion to solve world hunger. Like, that is huge. And like, I'm not saying my wish had anything to do with that, but it's like when I woke up to that this morning, I was like, that's an answered prayer right there. Because I've always wanted to see all our brothers and sisters here on earth have the basics. And so I'm just super fired up and thrilled about it. Does it mean it's going to happen right now? No, absolutely not. But him tweeting that is that first step. That's what needs to happen. And my thoughts are, if one billionaire steps up and does something like that, imagine what the other ones can do too. Because what if we normalize making it cool for billionaires to, give away some of their wealth? I'm talking a fraction, something they wouldn't even miss. What if we normalize making it cool to like take care of Earth, take care of our brothers and sisters? How cool would that be, like, for real? So like, I'm just super thrilled about that. And like, again, it just warms my heart and soul because that's the first step here. And again, like, something that's always tugged at my heart here has been that I've known that there's kids without the basics and stuff. And I'll even go so far as to say, as a young child, I remember I was forced to go to church as a child, and I remember like asking, I don't know if it was like a Sunday school teacher or what, but I would ask, like, how can there be a God if there's kids starving? I just couldn't wrap my mind around that at a young age. We're talking, 5, 6, 7 years old. I couldn't wrap my mind around that. And I think that has a lot to do with just the innocent eyes of a child and how we see the world. And like that says a lot for a child to say that they don't believe in a creator because they don't see how kids can be starving. Because as a child, I knew that we had the resources and people had money to be able to address those things. And now more than ever, with technology, with everything we've advanced and such, there's no reason that anyone shouldn't have the basics. And again, so that's how my morning started again, and I'm just super thrilled and super grateful. And like I said, even if the UN, I have faith that the UN's going to back up their claim. I really do. And I've been praying for it. And that just, again, makes me giddy like a schoolgirl. And I am so thrilled. I have faith. And again, even if it doesn't happen with that, again, him tweeting that is that first step. And again, let's normalize billionaires being cool philanthropists and literally helping out humanity. That's what we need. And so, yeah, that kind of brings me to my next point here is Mother Teresa said, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family. And so that's so important because I think often we forget that children are just so important in, they're the future. They're the ones who are going to be future leaders. They're the ones who are going to be developing future technologies, and we really need to love, nurture, and cherish them with their ideas and allow them to dream as big as they can possibly dream. And like, I had a lot of really great teachers growing up, and they know who they are. I'm not sure if any of them are watching or listening, but like I know that like I will always hold the things they taught me in my heart, because they taught us such great things. And I'm talking from a very young age up until high school. I had very, very important teachers who taught me to think critically, and taught just had so much wisdom to share. And like, I think we need to start passing that wisdom that we all have to our children, without letting them be told limitations that society places on them, because children see everything as limitless. They have unlimited potential in their minds, and I feel like they're taught, like, the conditioning and programming of society starts around the age of 6 or 7, which is when a healthy ego starts to form. And so with that, the ego, I it can be good and bad. Too much of it's bad, but also the ego is kind of the opposite of consciousness. So like, there's consciousness, which is all like oneness and being concerned about the collective, whereas the ego can actually work against that, and it's more self-centered, more selfish. It can be. And so again, there's healthy ego and unhealthy ego. And I think a lot of times people develop and are driven by that unhealthy ego, in a sense. And so again, children, they start to develop that ego around, I believe it's age 6 or 7, which is when the societal conditioning and programming starts to set in. And so it's just so important, I think, that we nurture the ideas our children have, that we discover their passions at a young age. Imagine a world where we discovered gifts and passions that our children had at, the age of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And imagine a world where we nurtured and cultivated those gifts and passions up until the age of 18, before we set them free to do their thing in society. Imagine if schools did that. And so it's difficult, just the way the education system's set up. And again, that being said, there's so many teachers out there who are doing everything in their power to inspire children and to do that. And for me personally, I just have this drive and this passion to like tell kids, like, if you have a dream, if that dream was put in your mind for a reason, you need to follow that. You need to cultivate those skills, the passions that you have, because it's all connected to your purpose, and that's what's going to make you happy. Whereas what society does is they kind of tell us, well, you need to trade your time for money, and you do that by going to school. And sometimes you go to college afterwards, and that's where you learn this. But again, I feel like all college does is, it can that being said, there's people who are successful, from going to school, but it creates all these limitations and boxes. Whereas what we know about the universe and how it works, it's a mirror. Smile and it'll smile back. I have a dream. If I hold it in my mind, if I take some action, if I plant those seeds and, water them, nurture them, take good care of them, and, practice my gratitude and do all these proactive things, I can accomplish anything I set my mind to. And so can you, and so can your children. And that's why it's so important, I think, to literally just treat children like the gifts that they are to this world. And I think sometimes we lose sight of that. And so yeah, it's just super important, and that's kind of something I really wanted to touch base on here today. And yeah, so with that here, I'm going to segue into my own personal journey here. So I had talked a little bit about how I had a powerful experience that began my conscious journey, which began a little over a year ago. It happened on Thursday, October 29th of 2020. I'll never forget it. I was sitting in my hammock in my apartment. I love hammocking. That's like one of my pastimes. Like, one of my favorite things to do is just, I always joke and say, be strung out between two trees. I don't mean strung out like high, just like hanging out in a hammock between two trees. Like, that's my favorite thing to do in the summer. And I always like to find like a river or like a lake or just near water. Water's so tranquil, and I just love it. And so hammocks bring me joy. That's like one of my favorite things to do. And like I said, I don't even necessarily do anything when I'm doing it. I'm just sitting between two trees. Sometimes I read a book, listen to music, or I just take in nature. But so I have a hammock in my room. And this had been after it was a pretty tough year with COVID and the lockdown and stuff. I'd been drinking a lot, escaping my reality. I wasn't happy with who I was. I was confused. I didn't know what was going on, and I I I was suffering essentially. I don't think I even realized it because I was escaping my reality so much that I didn't even realize that I was suffering. So like I said, it had been a really tough year with the pandemic and everything. I had gotten COVID. I think it was earlier in the month of October, and so I just gone through. I went through two breakups in the year 2020, and so like I just wasn't in a good spot mentally. I was suffering, and I was sitting in my hammock in my bedroom. And I have a hammock indoors too because I like hammocking. So it's something I like to do all the time because it brings me joy. And so I was uh I was watching TV, and when I say watching TV, I had one of my shows going on as just background images. I like to watch like sometimes nature shows or just whatever, but then I'll usually play music as well. Um and so I had music going, I was just watching TV, and I don't remember what was on exactly. However, I when I was doing this, like I said, I was in a really rough spot. I looked up at the TV and I saw a heart on the screen. The second I saw that heart, the word love appeared on the music that I was listening to. And so I heard the word love, saw the heart, and something just clicked in my mind. And the second that that clicked, I felt this warmth in my chest, something I'd never felt before. And just thinking and talking about it right now gives me goosebumps because it was the most beautiful, warm sensation I'd ever felt in my entire life. And it was beautiful. Like I could almost tear up just thinking about it. It was that powerful. And so when I tell that story to some people, depending on their beliefs, people have been like, well, that was Jesus. And I'm like, you're absolutely right, it was, depending on people's beliefs, but like that was love. That was like my creator, my God, and my understanding, like giving me an experience of love in my heart. And that was what started my journey, because after that I started to want that, because I realized that was put in my heart for a reason, and that I had all this healing to do from 15 plus years of escaping my reality. And so that powerful experience afterwards, I held on to that like for weeks afterwards. And every time I would think about it, I could feel my vibration raising. I could feel those goosebumps, the power of the Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it, those good vibrations. I could feel that running through me just thinking about that powerful experience. And uh, that's how my spiritual awakening began, and that's how my conscious journey began. And after that I began to literally, just every time I was tempted with going back to old habits, or in a situation where I knew something would be around that maybe I shouldn't be doing, every time that that would present itself, I would literally stop what I was doing, think about it, and I would remember that love that I felt. And that love was so powerful in my heart that it caused me to not want to make the choices that I used to make. And so it didn't just happen overnight. I mean, there were still times where I still made mistakes and stuff. It didn't happen overnight, but it gradually, just that desire to not use or want to escape anymore literally was like lifted from me. And so it was the most beautiful thing ever, and so powerful. And again, that's what began my spiritual awakening and my journey. And again, that literally was so powerful, it caused me to want to live a better life, to picture and visualize my dream life daily. I started doing this exercise where I visualize where I want to be in a few years, what kind of car I want to drive, what I'd like to do for a career, what kind of bank account I'd like, what kind of wife I want, what I want to spend my time doing, what kind of house I want. And so I began to visualize those things and practice gratitude in feeling that I already have those things. Because the way the world works, the way God works, the way the universe, whatever you want to call it, the way it works is, again, you have to be in alignment for the things you're asking for. You have to already know that you have them after you've asked for them, and you have to be vibrating at the same frequency for those to manifest in the physical form. And and that's what I've learned in my journey here. And so it's interesting because there's a term called divine timing, and so a lot of people say God's timing is perfect, and they're absolutely right. And what you need to do is you have to be ready to accept the things that you've asked for, those seeds that you planted a long time ago for that dream life. You have to be able to know that you're getting them, and that everything's always working in your favor. It doesn't matter. And so that's why, like I said, for me, I lost just about everything this year, but it didn't phase me, it didn't stop me, it didn't ever break me or cause me to be like, you know what, I'm just gonna go back to the things that ruined my life for many years. It didn't cause me to do that. Why? Because sometimes to make room for something better, you have to lose what you currently have. And there's a saying that goes, your new life is gonna cost you your old one. And I couldn't agree with that more. And for me in my journey, that's what it's all been about, is like every day is not a great day. However, I can choose to pick out something great in that day and be grateful for it. Like I said, when I woke up this morning, start of a new month, I was super pumped and saw that Elon Musk had tweeted that. I was thrilled. And guess what? That doesn't benefit me like at all, but this is something I'm super passionate about, and that I've literally had in my heart since a child, that I wanted to live to see a day where every child had the basics. And so like that does benefit me, because by by me putting it out there that I wish for that, that automatically helps raise the collective vibration. And so by him tweeting that, that also raises the vibration of the collective. And that's what it all is. It's all energy, it's all vibration. And so again, and before I know I said it didn't benefit me, it does, because it makes me so happy to know that that's happening. And so that was the highlight of my day, is knowing that there is someone out there who has offered to solve world hunger if the UN can prove it. And like that's just huge, and that's so amazing, and that's so great. And I'm just super grateful to be here, and super blessed to be able to share my experience, strength, hope, and wisdom with everyone. And again, like this is just the start of a project for me, and I know where I'm headed and what I want to do. And like again, I'm holding that in my mind. I'm holding my vision, where I want to be, what I want to accomplish in this lifetime. Because for so long I was told I was an addict, and that life was always going to be difficult, essentially, and that the only way to cure this addiction was through this program. And like I said, the program never worked for me. It felt inauthentic, it felt depressing, it it wasn't like real and like just happiness. And there's a lot of people who don't make it, who aren't blessed with the chance at a second chance at life, and I've been blessed with that, and I'm so grateful. And again, I just want to inspire others, whether they have been struggling with addiction, or everyone's got their own struggles, no matter what they are. Again, it's just a chapter of your life. It's just a part of your story, and there's purpose in the pain. There's a reason that you're going through what you're going through. And they say the bigger the battle, the more magnificent the destination. And so sometimes that quote is what gets me through the day, because not every day is a great day, but if I can choose to find something good in every day, then it's all right. And I have food, I have water, I have people that love and support me. And so some days, if that's what I have, that's all I need. So yeah, that's kind of all I have for you today. Again, I'm gonna sign this here with love and light. And before I let you go here, I ask that everyone listening, everyone watching, here, I ask that you all get a sign within the next day or two from your higher power, God of your understanding, your creator, whatever your label is for it. I ask that you get a sign, and that sign, I ask, be in the form of love, whether it's a heart, whether you hear the word love, whether it's in a conversation. And I want that sign to be evident, so that when you do hear it, when you see it, you know that that was sent to you for a reason, and that you that it clicks for you, and that you have a wonderful day, and that your day is filled with love. So that's what I ask here, that everyone gets a sign of love within the next day or two. So with that, again, my name is Brian Garrett. I love you all. This is a Conscious Shift podcast. Take care. Have a great one.